What a great day with Bitcoin breaking the long-awaited for resistance at 62K, now trading at over 64K. As you can see here, Ethereum nicely following up close to 2800. It actually went above 2800 a couple of times, but now it pulled back down a bit. I think it's gonna break past that. I'm expecting Ethereum to hopefully reach $3,000 very soon, but anything could happen, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the market does what it wants to do, but it's definitely nice to see us coming out of this downtrend once again. This kind of reminds me of March 2020 when the pandemic was announced and we had that big crash, and then as soon as the crash happened, the price just started moving up slowly and nicely to recover to those high levels once again. But because the stock market has recovered and Bitcoin hasn't since that crash that we've seen at the end of July, we can expect Bitcoin to possibly put in that new all-time high. And the reason I say that is because if history repeats itself, 7 to 8 months post Bitcoin halving, we should be seeing a new all-time high. Perhaps this is just based on historical events. It doesn't mean that this necessarily has to happen, but there's a good chance it could. So yeah, seeing Ethereum trading at over 2800 is good, given that the crash took it down to 2200, which was quite harsh. I think it went even a little bit below that. Yeah, it went down to like 2150. So quite low, to be fair. And now seeing it at 2800 is definitely refreshing. And so we'll have to see if it does get back to 3K. I think it will, because there is some area of resistance here and it's thin resistance. So I think it should be able to break this around 2850. And then the next one is not until 3100. So I think we could be seeing it around 3100 here, and it's probably going to struggle around this area. But that's where most of the resistance is, as you can see, just over 3000. So once you get to the 3200 range, that's when it gets more difficult for Ethereum to break past, right? Because it has been accumulating around that area for quite some time, and because it had this massive catalyst with the ETF announcement here, which pumped it way above this resistance area, and it was so easy. But because we don't have any kind of catalyst right now, it is going to struggle, because it now has to try and break past these resistance levels as if there are no bullish news, right? You got to take that into consideration, given that Bitcoin could be continuing to go higher. It doesn't necessarily mean that Ethereum has to get back to 3800 so soon. It could just mean that Bitcoin might actually have to get to 78K, maybe even 80K before Ethereum revisits 3800, because it just seems to me like Ethereum has lost that momentum now. But nevertheless, it's doing quite well, and it's good to see it following Bitcoin right now, even though the crash was a bit bigger and it did put in that bigger dent. Given that it was 3800, and a lot of people who bought it around 3800 are now stuck. They need to wait for another 1K up. It's gonna take time. I think it's gonna happen, right? Ethereum's not going anywhere, so if you're patient and you're not in a rush to sell, I think you'll be fine. Again, not financial advice, but this is just common sense. I hold Ethereum as well. I'm in no rush to sell. I can definitely wait until I see higher levels of like 4K, 5K, maybe even 6K. And then I'll see what the market's doing, and I'll consider selling. If I see that there's too much hype in the market, like we've seen in March, that's the time to sell, because when there's too much hype in the market, a bear market tends to follow. And even if the bear market doesn't follow immediately, a big crash tends to follow, like we've seen before. So yeah, anyone that sold in March is definitely very happy now, but you couldn't have known. Just looking at Injective as well, as you can see, Injective is actually pumping even better than Ethereum. It has more strength. And this is what I like about Injective as opposed to other altcoins, in that, every time there's a market recovery, it progresses really well, and it really pumps. It really takes off without you. It likes to go higher. Of course, when the market crashes hard, then not even Injective can try to escape out of that. And as you can see, even though the crash happened, it's not a direct crash down. It actually happened over a number of days here, as you can see, right? Because it did try to go back up, then it pushed down, then it tried to go back up, it pushed down. It's not just like a big crash down, with small struggles to go back up. There was definitely a lot of potential here, with the exception of this crash here from the 5th of August, which took Bitcoin below 50K. If that wouldn't have happened, I think we would have been fine. I think, Injective could have potentially recovered from here, from around 1890, but because it took it all the way down to 14, actually went down to 13.63, as you can see here at 8 a.m. Central European time on the 5th of August. So that was the lowest. And yeah, given that it was 1363, to see it back at 2272 is definitely refreshing. for anyone that has bought around this dip here. And even here, right? If you bought around these levels here, anywhere from here to here, I mean, you're doing well now. There's no complaints whatsoever. And if you had bought at higher levels and you now wanted to DCA in just to reduce that entry price, then you're likely doing well as well. So it's definitely great to see and refreshing to see Injective. Again, this can't keep on going like this, you know. Even though it's pumping right now with the market, it's eventually going to find some sort of structure here, some sort of consolidation. And then we may see it pull back a bit and then go further up, because there has been no pullback whatsoever. As you can see, Injective has not even touched the 21-day moving average on the 1 hour chart here. And you know, every single coin touches that eventually, but because it's been so bullish, it's got a lot of strength. So yeah, you can definitely expect it to touch it. You can also expect it to touch the 50-day moving average, perhaps around $20.70, $20.80, but it all depends on the market, right? If the market continues bullish, Injective will continue bullish, but it'll eventually touch it. We just don't know when, right? But it always happens, right? So there's no touching. Yeah, no, it'll definitely happen. We just don't know when. There'll definitely be that pullback opportunity for people who haven't gotten in and have watched this take off without holding any Injective, you know. But yeah, we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. It could be that this might last for another few weeks because every time we get bullish momentum like that, it doesn't usually last long, whereas the bearish one lasts quite long. It can last 2 to 3 weeks. And the bullish one usually lasts like a week, maybe even a couple of days. So it's already been a number of days, and I think it's probably going to last another number of days before we'll see some massive pullback. And then whenever that pullback happens, it'll probably take Bitcoin to 62K, which was the previous resistance, now turn into support. And that means Injective could potentially go to $20, around the low $20 area, I think. But we'll have to see because, anything could happen. I mean, if Bitcoin takes off to like 70K, it's unlikely going to pull back all the way to 62K. It's probably going to stick around that area, maybe 66, maybe 68K if it goes to 70. But it all depends on how much more fuel there is in the tank. And I think there's still a lot of fuel in the tank because there's a lot of bullish news being posted regarding crypto at the moment. And then if we look at the 24-hour gainers, it's funny because WIF seems to be doing the best, followed by Pepe. I can't believe Pepe is still doing well. So this just gives you an indication. I'm not saying this is financial advice and that you should definitely buy this, but it gives you an indication as to the memes doing well whenever the market is doing well. So if you buy in on a red day, these kind of memes, then you can expect them to do well when the market's green. And as you can see, most of the memes are WIF, Pepe, Bonk, right? Popcat, Flocky, all the memes. And then there's the serious projects, right? Jupiter, the DEX on Solana, that's been doing well as well, up 8.92%. Of course, it does have the help of the market makers, which is helping propel it. Solana itself, 8.87% up, $161. Given that it dropped to 120, that was a good buy. Unfortunately, I was just in a different coin, so I couldn't actually buy it. But if I would have had stable coins, I could have gotten into Solana. At 120 was cheap for me, given that it did go to $200 not too long ago, and it could revisit that $200 once again if the market is bullish. And there's no doubt in my mind that it's not going to do that. I definitely think it can if the market continues going higher. Solana usually follows. It's one of the top ones there, and it's getting that Jump Crypto support, the market maker support. Remember, Jump Crypto have a dedicated development team working on Fire Dancer, the biggest upgrade on Solana. When that's going to be launching, you can expect Solana to pump like crazy because Jump Crypto will make sure it pumps like crazy and creates a lot of hype. And then people like you and I are going to be FOMOing in if we haven't already, because that's what happens, right? That's the cycle of the market, especially the crypto market. Now, Near Protocol is one that surprised me because it went to $5.14, higher than Polkadot here. It's up 29.63% in the last 7 days, up 8.66% in the last 24 hours alone. So you could have made quite a nice amount here depending on how much you put in yesterday if you had waited till today. So yeah, if you bought in a week ago, you're doing very well, of course. But Near Protocol, which apparently has worse tech than Polkadot, is doing better because there are more supporters, perhaps VCs. That's what the community is saying. Polygon as well is doing quite well, up 8.12% and up 40% in the last 7 days. WorldCoin is doing well. Kaspa, Say, Notcoin, which is also a really, really hype Telegram coin, which many people got for free. Shiba Inu is up 6.94%, so up 19.98, so close to 20% in the last 7 days. Once again, it shows you that meme coins are doing well. Cosmos is up 16.84%. Not too good here in the last 7 days for Cosmos, unfortunately. I'm looking to sell my Atom, and I'll probably be buying something else, maybe Solana or something on the pullback, because there's always a pullback. I'm going to wait for that. And stable coins, I'm already stacking up some stable coins now, so I'm just waiting for that. Immutable X IMX here is doing good in the last 7 days, up 35.26%. Celestia is up as well, 21.59%, $6.16. But remember, you got to be careful with Celestia because that big VC unlock is going to happen in October. I've sold all of my Celestia now. I don't hold any more TI. I have unstaked that over a month ago, and I've already sold it. So I'm just waiting on the sidelines to see what will happen. Arbitrum is doing okay as well. The graph is still around. Injective, again, Injective, I've told you that it's been performing extremely well in the last while. Phantom as well. So quite a lot of coins, especially the top ones, are doing well. Polkadot here, as you can see, is suffering. Only 16.38% in the last 7 days. Not great, because there have been coins, especially meme tokens, that have been putting in this much in terms of percentage increase in the last 24 hours alone. And for Polkadot, it took a whole week to do that. So not great, to be fair. It is turning into a bit of a stable coin. It has struggled ever since it dropped below $4 because a lot of people got pissed off and probably sold. I mean, when we're looking at the open governance activity when it comes to voting, there's less activity there, right? In terms of people actually voting. So you can tell that a lot of people actually sold their DOT and are no longer voting, because if you vote, you have to lock up that DOT for a certain period of time. So less voters means less people interested in open governance, probably less stakers. I'm not sure if less stakers. I haven't checked the figures in that, so I need to check the analytics. But yeah, the fact that Near Protocol, which has very similar tokenomics to Polkadot, is performing better, given it has performed worse when the crash happened, and it managed to come back and surpass Polkadot, just tells you, the kind of support that Near Protocol is getting from the community and the kind of support Polkadot is getting, and it's definitely lost. Polkadot is getting more of a support from a smaller community, which is a hardcore DAO that's been supporting it ever since, and they're getting some money from the treasury too, so there's a lot of bias there. Whereas with Near Protocol, I'm not sure if that community is getting paid at all. Maybe they are people in there, there are DAOs in Near Protocol that are getting paid as well from their treasury, but we just don't hear about it because it's not open, right? You don't have open governance like you do with Polkadot. So I know that Cardano have launched open governance now with Voltaire, so I'm not sure like what's going on there, but yeah, Near Protocol definitely has more support, so it's great to see that it is doing really good. Ordi as well has been doing very good, which is the top BRC20 token, the very first BRC20 token, in fact. So the token that is built on Bitcoin's network, 32.89% in the last 7 days, extremely well, $36.91. So amazing to see that. I didn't think we'd see Ordi make such a big comeback, given that it has already pumped from like $1 to 50. Then for it to come back down quite a lot, I think it was down to like $15 or $16. I hadn't checked it, and now to see it return to 36.91, perhaps even get back to 50 very soon. So yeah, these are the kind of coins you got to watch, right? This gives us a very clear sign that we still follow memes. We love memes because these are the ones that are performing the best here, and they've got a lot of market maker support, I think, also community support, but I definitely think there's some market maker involvement here for stuff like this to be pumping like crazy, right? It's a lot. Given the market cap is only 763 million, up 80% in the last week. That's insane for Popcat. So yeah, this is what you can expect. This is what we're doing right now. We are still in that meme era where most of the money is flowing into memes when it comes to the hype and when it comes to green days. Unfortunately, people hadn't sold that to move into the techie ones. They're probably fed up with the techie ones because they believe most of crypto is a scam, and so if most of crypto is a scam, I might as well play around with memes because at least they're funny. I think this is what they're trying to do here. This is why people are hyping up memes and buying memes and promoting them everywhere. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think? What's the reason? But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video very soon. Bye-bye.